Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel for the Synapse series, where we will be covering all the real-time project-based scenarios. Okay, so let's get started. So in this video, we will be talking about how we can create linked services in the Synapse and why we need linked services. Okay, also to make it more clear for you guys, what I will be doing, I will be creating two different type of linked services so that it will give you a clear picture. Now understand. Let's understand what linked services is. Okay. So linked services is a configuration that defines a connection to an external data source and services. In simple term, what does it mean? Let's say you have a service, you have a source. Source means, let's say, one storage location. Okay. And you want to connect this storage location one, right? And you wanted to read the data out of it, or maybe some file out of it, right? So for that purpose, you need a configuration. And this configuration is basically stored into the linked services. Okay. Now this linked service is responsible to hold the configuration and create a connection to this particular storage. Okay. So what linked service is doing? It's basically creating a connection between a different type of sources and services. Okay. Now, it provides Synapse with the necessary information to connect to any external data sources and access data stored therein. Okay. So basically, the same thing. It will help you to connect the data sources and get the data out of it. Okay. For example, let's say you have some data stored in blob. Okay. This is blob. Okay. Now, and you want to analyze the data in Synapse, right? This is your Synapse workspace. Now you wanted to analyze the data which is stored into the blob, right? So to do this, you would need to create a linked services in Synapse that will create or that will connect the ADL and the Synapse to this blob. Okay. Okay. The linked services would provide Synapse with the necessary information to connect to the blob. Okay. And access the data stored in there. Okay, so once this link services is created, right, you can use it to act. I mean, once it is created, right, you can use it multiple times across the pipeline. Okay, that means you can use Synapse to read, process, and analyze the data stored in this particular data source. Okay, it will be like after creating this connection, it will be like a part of Synapse environments. Okay, so that's how link service works. Okay, and that's why we need the link services. Let me clear the drawing and let me get to the next slide. So I'm just sharing here a few steps how you can create the link services. So you can open the Synapse Studio, go to the manage, click on link services, and there you will get some new button option. You can select the new button option and it will show you what all different type of link services you have. You can select the one. Let's take an example. Let's say blog. Okay, you can select this one and you can pass the required information. And that's how you can create the linked services. We'll see in the practical demo. But before that, again, as I said, I wanted to read the data from different sources. So here I'm talking about two different sources. One is storage container. Okay. And the other one is SSMS. Okay. Maybe a table in your local SQL Server. So I will create one link service. Okay. For the storage container, let's say ADLS Gen 2. Okay. ADLS Gen 2. And the second one, I will be doing it for SSMS, basically. Okay. And again, it's on premises. So you need a self-hosted integration runtime. I should write SFIR, self-hosted, SHF, sorry, self-hosted integration runtime. Okay. So let's get started. Let me switch over to my Synapse workspace and we'll quickly see it, how we can achieve it. So there you guys, basically this is my Synapse workspace and let me change it. Yeah. So if you see, there are two link services already there, but we will not be using it. We'll create our own new link service and we'll try to use it. So as I was saying, we will be using two different link services. The first one is here, ATLS Gen 2, right? One link service for ATLS Gen 2. I wanted to connect to one of the storage accounts. Okay. As per the best practice, always start with ls. Okay. Let's say it's ADLS, and I'm giving it for YouTube demo. Okay. Now you can select integration runtime. Since it's Azure base, again, you can use simple auto result. You don't have to make any change over there. Okay. Authentication type. See, there are different ways to authenticate, to connect, to start a connection between the storage account and Synapse, right? You can use any of them, but generally I go with the user system assigned managed identity. Now, inside this, you need to select your subscription. Let's say I selected my subscription, and then you have to pass your storage account name. So for which storage you wanted to create a connection. So my storage account name is this one. And before creating it, let's try to test it. Connection successful. We are good to go. And that's it. Your link service is created for ADLS. If you see this dot, it means this has not been published. This has not been published to the workspace. Better to publish it, otherwise you will lose it. Okay, so once it is done, what we will do, we'll create one more link service for SSMS, right? SQL Server, continue. And for SSMS, we need self-hosted, right? Integration runtime, which I already have in my machine. If you don't have, you can download integration runtime and you can configure it. Okay. Then it needs your, again, the information related to your SQL Server, like your storage, like your server name and other things. I have it handy with me. Let me paste it over here. This is the database name and SQL authentication, and I need to pass username and password. Okay. There you go. Let's try to test it. So if you see here, it's quite simple, right? We are just trying to authenticate that particular service, right? Using some ID password, using some other mechanisms, right? Authentication type, right? And once it is done, we are storing this information as a part of link service, right? And now this connection is stored, this particular link service is stored, and now I can use it across my Synapse workspace, right? So that's how you can create link services in your Synapse account. So I hope this video will be helpful for you guys. In next video, we will see how we can parameterize it and how we can use this same link service in one of our pipelines. Okay. So thank you. Thanks for watching this video. Bye.